Today, we're going to talk about why I don't work on Wix and WordPress, and I strategically choose to only work on Squarespace. It's kind of been a long-awaited one, and here we go. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you by Jane, a clinic management software that I absolutely love that is here to make practice life a little easier. For many of us practitioners, yes, if you did not know, I also owned a clinic, and I totally understand. As a clinic owner, documentation can feel a bit clunky and disrupt the flow of an appointment. And that's where Jane's templates can help. With dozens of customization options, you can tailor your templates to your workflow so you can focus your energy on what matters, which is helping your patients' clients. Access the template library built by practitioners across different disciplines. This is so amazing. You guys, if you have not checked this out, please do. Then you can edit those templates to fit your unique needs without starting from scratch, and it saves you so much time. You can also create your own templates for every step of patient care, including intake form questionnaires, clinical surveys, treatment plans. This way, you have everything you need to start appointments prepared. To learn more about how Jane can help your documentation work for you, head to meet.jane.app/documentation to book a demo. Oh, and also, if you want to get started with Jane, you can use my code LEX1MO. Again, that's LEX1MO for a 1-month grace period on your new account. To make it easy for you, I have a link that goes directly to Jane in the show notes. Feel free to click that, and you will be taken to the place where you can learn more and book a demo. Welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I am recording this just after I recorded last week's episode. So I'm recording this early because in order to work with other companies, you have to get your podcast episodes approved before you launch them. So I am on a contract that has me get these episodes approved 7 days prior, which means I have to record them beforehand, which I actually am not used to, clearly, as I am recording the episodes, let's just say, back to back, rather than having recorded this one today and then the other one last week. I had it in my brain that I should do it last week, and then I got sick, but we'll just not talk about being sick again, because obviously you can hear that I am still fighting it because I just finished recording the last episode. Hoping that I feel a lot better now that it feels like my coughs are a little bit less. Anyway, today's intro for business life updates. Business updates, I'm going to express a lot of gratitude. I posted on Instagram, it would be yesterday, so it would be June 13th. I actually have it pinned on my Instagram now because I've been wanting to create this for so long. I'll be honest, like so long. I have wanted to create an intro post that gave people the lowdown on working with me before they left Instagram. And I know that I post a lot of things, but I still get folks who don't necessarily know what I do. And my service brochure is in my bio, but like I'll be the person to tell you, if you've probably already known as a business owner, that you have to have your stuff multiple places. And I kept telling myself that I needed to have something on Instagram, and I finally created it. So I finally created a post that makes sense for my business as far as like what I offer, what I don't offer, and then, some testimonials, what have you in there. So if you haven't taken a peek at that, feel free to take a peek at that. I know that sometimes people are like, oh my God, I didn't know you did that. Like I actually have a question in my inbox from a question box that I put up, and someone had asked me, why do you only work on SEO for health and wellness and not anything else? And in my mind, I was like, wait, what? Like SEO is one part of my business. And I feel like I should do an episode about that at some point, like what the parts of my business are and why there's different parts. But it got me thinking, like, clearly I talk a lot about SEO. I talk a lot about websites, but I don't have a space for people to see everything unless they download the brochure, or if you go to my website, like, don't get me wrong, all of my stuff is on my website, but that's also leaving Instagram. I know people don't have energy for that. So anyway, all of that to say, I made it quite easy. So it's just a pinned post on my Instagram now. And that's where that's going to live for, until I want to change it, I suppose. So I'm really excited about that. I think the post it's different than what I've seen. Wow, that pop. I'm looking at my podcast recording. That P was really plosive. That plosive was really loud. So I'm sorry about that. I'm hoping that it gives people a place to land, and I am really excited about it. It looks different than other ones than I've seen. And I absolutely did not want to do a 3 pinned post thing. Like, I don't like that, but I did feel like it was with 20 slides, like I can do it in one. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I know the text is small. I mentioned that in the caption, but the thing is like, I also wanted to have the episode to have the breaks in there with like the pictures of moose and what have you. You'll see it if you go check it out. So yeah, let me think about the other stuff here. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I am enjoying my SEO inner circle community a lot. I am going to be recording the next step lesson for them today or tomorrow. I'm still deciding exactly how I want to relay what I'm teaching them, but the long and the short is that group is for people who want accountability, and then I'm going to say strategy refinement and advanced strategy for SEO. It comes after SEO school. So I only let folks who have either worked with me one-on-one on SEO for an extended period of time, or they're in SEO school to join that, because the thing is, it's like, I know that it is intimidating and I know there's a lot of work and it's hard. So if they want somewhere to ask more questions, that's why I created the group. And I like it. It's great. I think it's going to be really good. Our first group call was the first Wednesday of the month. SEO school is well underway. If I know some of the people that are in both of those groups listen to the podcast, and I had mentioned to them in the beginning, SEO school wasn't supposed to happen this summer, so I wasn't really putting pressure on a schedule. But now that it is, like, I did put a lot of pressure on myself to meet the schedule of the course. However, like, life has happened, and that trip two trips have thrown a wrench in the plan. But I received a lovely DM from someone who has been a really big light in my life and business. She, just because working with her, the way that it felt to work with her, I would say it was just like someone was very confirming that I'm doing what I'm meant to do in life. And when you have clients like that, you're just like, gosh, like, I'm so grateful for you. But she sent me a DM and basically just said, like, I'm so happy you're going on this trip. Like, just to let you know, like, I'm so happy you're doing this. Like, we can have a call anytime, and like, thank you. And it's something so small, but it's one of those things where, we've all worked in places where, we're not appreciated, and our worth is demonstrated by our ability to produce and our productivity overall. And I am always so grateful when someone sees me as a human and not just the producer, because I know, like, that is my joy in life. My love language is to produce and get stuff done. Like, that is definitely, acts of service is my love language. So I am not like downing myself in that and, saying that that's a bad place to be. That is where I like to be and like to do things. However, when someone acknowledges the human side of me and it's just like, hey, I'm so glad you're doing that for yourself. Like, I've done a lot of work around that already. So I do that for myself. And of course, like, I don't beat myself up about it. And when other people also acknowledge it, it just feels good. It's kind of like when someone is like, hey, like feeling your feels is also a part of holding it down. Like you're doing great. And like, that's just the way it feels is just really validating and confirming. And I appreciate it so much. So I'm not sure if that person will know that this is about her. However, I'm just saying thank you to anyone who has ever done that, especially this person, in the last month. So again, life has thrown lifey stuff and doing life, like just life is short. I also just want to say, before I jump into the episode, I listened to a podcast the other day. It was with, I was on podcast and I was just looking for something to listen to. And I was a big fan of Sophia Bush growing up because I watched One Tree Hill. However, in the last like 2 or 3 years, she went through like a similar situation, if you will, as I did. And something that she said, I don't have the exact quote. I'm looking for the actual podcast episode. It was with, and it's like, you'd think it'd be easy to find, but I'm like, why is it not in my recently, I'm looking, most recent maybe? Man, I'm not seeing it. It should be in my recently listened to. But either way, I listened, no, it wasn't that one. It was with Monica Lewinsky. It was Monica Lewinsky and Sophia Bush. It was on Reclaiming with Monica Lewinsky. I don't listen to that podcast, but it came up when I was like up next and I was scrolling through it and I was like, oh, Sophia Bush, cool. I'll listen to this. But she said a quote where her and Monica were going back and forth about how life is so short. And life is so short. So you should, be happy and just go with the flow and like enjoy it. And then what she had said, I want to find the exact quote and I might even like pause this recording to find it because it was so good. But the rebuttal she had said, she was like, but life is also so long. And that I was like, she was like, life is so long to feel so bad. And I was like, oh my God, like yes, like get out of things that you're not happy in. Don't go through things to go through things because like life is long and life is short. And I was just like, what? This is such a good quote. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I might pause this. So you might hear a hard stop before I restart it. Hold on just a second. Alrighty, I did find it. So the quote is, life's too short to be unhappy. And then her rebuttal, so Sophia Bush's rebuttal was, you know what? Life's too short to not go for it. Life is way too fucking long to be miserable. And I was like, oh my God, yes. And it's way too fucking long to be terrible to other people. Because the thing is they're talking about how in a lot of circles and in the world right now, there's a lot of like shaming and there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world and people are unhappy and miserable and they're not fighting for each other and yada, yada. And she's just saying like, Sophia wanted to claim what she had said, quote, claim my right to be a 3-dimensional human and to say that she's really proud of herself for going all the way and doing all the work and leaving no stone left unturned and for leaning into what she believed the goal or the fantasy or the desire or whatever you want to call the white picket fence life could be. And then to have the courage to say it's not for her and to leave and to do something different. And what she was saying is that there's a lot of people who like talked about her in a way and like refined or put her onto a piece of paper as a 2-dimensional or 1-dimensional human and took her story and just made it into words that didn't really fit the whole situation. And so when she had said, I was like, oh my God, like that's a quote anybody could benefit from. Like, yes, life is too short. And life's too short to be unhappy and life's too short not to go for it. And life is way too long to be miserable and way too long to be terrible to other people. Like, why be terrible to other people? Why? And life is so short and life is so long. Why would you want to be terrible to people? Anyway, I don't know why I ended up bringing that up, clearly because I didn't plan that because I just had to search for the quote, but I thought that was a really good quote to just kind of walk away with from that episode. Like, yes, life is so short, and also life is way too long to be terrible to people. What are we doing? Why? Anyway, okay. We're going to jump off the box because now it's 15 minutes in. I love when I do this, but also like, Lex, I ramble a lot because I'm excited to talk about what I'm going to talk about today. And I'm not going to go too deep into it because it's really a quite simple answer, but really pumped to talk to you in the episode about Squarespace and why I strategically choose Squarespace over WordPress and Wix. So let's jump in. Alrighty, podcast fam, are you familiar with Cozy Earth? I am so excited to tell you about them today, if not. Their mission is to transform your 5 to 9, the time that matters most, into the most comfortable part of your day. And honestly, I'm totally sold. I'm not a big pajamas person and I'm super picky about sheets. And let me tell you, Cozy Earth knocks it out of the park. I have their bamboo pajama set and a bamboo sheet set, and I was so impressed the minute I opened the packaging. The jammies are so soft and comfortable, and they fit so well. For my long torso friends, they are perfect on me when other pajamas literally become crop tops. If you know, you know. These pajamas do not do that, and I love them so, so much. It makes me so happy to have a set of cute pajamas that I can wear that actually fit. And the sheets are so comfortable and not too cold and not too hot. Honestly, my opinion is that they're perfect for summer. If you're ready to upgrade your bedtime routine, your bedtime 5 to 9, head to Cozy Earth, use the code LEX for 40% off best-selling sheets, pajamas, and more. And don't forget to tell me what you think because I'd love to hear. Again, that's CozyEarth.com. Use the code LEX, L-E-X, for 40% off your purchase. All right, here we go. I am going to start with the answer that I give on calls and the answer that I have said multiple times before of why I choose Squarespace over Wix and WordPress. The simplest answer and the most truthful answer I can give to you is that Squarespace allows for management of the website by the client that I am designing the website for. It also allows for SEO implementation within images. So it allows you to geotag images. And the platform is easy, period. It allows for my customers, my clients, to manage their own website should they want to do so, because it is easy and the ways in which I design the websites allow them to essentially take what I've given them and use it for years to come. Even if they need to add new pages, even if they need to add new sections, it allows them to do that with ease. That's important to me. That to me is one of the reasons why I built my entire business. I built my business around the fact that websites like WordPress are way too fucking hard for most clinicians to manage on their own. I can count past clients of mine. I can count a few people who either had WordPress and I did coaching with them and they went and implemented on their own website and they were fine. I can't count too many people who are tech savvy enough to manage WordPress. And the thing is some people will say, well, isn't WordPress like the gold standard? And isn't that how you're going to like rank high on SEO? Absolutely not. Every single client that I work with one-on-one has Squarespace and they all do fantastic online. So no, you do not need to have a WordPress website to have the best SEO. With that being said, the other thing is the reason why I choose Squarespace, over WordPress and Wix is because of the way in which you can change things on the website. So it's a streamlined process. Squarespace has made it very easy, and I choose them on purpose because I want people to be able to have the ability to change things on the back end and add new sections, add new pages, and also have it be intuitive and have the mobile version not look chaka-chaka. I'll be honest. I can tell when a website is built on Wix, and I just don't like it. I think it looks chaka. I don't like the layout. I don't like the aesthetics of Wix. I really don't like the flow of Wix. And the problem is with the mobile editor and even the desktop editor, the edits that you make on the website that would take you 30 seconds on Squarespace take you 10 minutes on Wix. And I'm talking and saying that from someone who has done both. I used to only design on Wix. Up until 2019, like mid 2019, I was only on Wix, and then I fully switched to Squarespace. So I'm speaking from someone who has done both and who has experience doing both, because one of my clients is on Wix right now. I work with people inside of SEO school and on coaching calls on Wix. The abilities are just not the same. Now I'm going to give you a couple reasons why I choose Squarespace over Wix for SEO. One, it allows you to have 2 different blog inserts. So blog inserts are helpful because you can make it your podcast and you can make it your blog. So you need blog inserts for both of those in order to have them on your website. You can see a demo on my website, but it allows for you to have 2 blog inserts. On Wix and on WordPress, in order to make that happen, you have to use tags, which I find incredibly cumbersome, and I don't think it's necessary. And Squarespace makes it so easy because your podcast is in one blog insert and your blog is in another blog insert. And I think that it is the best system because it's easy, and again, it's intuitive and anybody can manage that. With Squarespace or with Wix and WordPress, instead of being able to display the entire blog on one page, you now have to choose to display one type of tag, which then messes with your entire page design on the WordPress and Wix site. So I am saying this, and don't forget, like, tech updates. So I'm saying this as of this exact date. This is another reason why I choose to use Squarespace over Wix and WordPress, because you're allowed to have 2 blog inserts on top of the things that I mentioned before. The other big one, again, which could change, so don't hold me to it if it's after this date, but Wix also does not allow geotagging of images. So Wix does not maintain what we call metadata inside of images, and geotagging of images is one of the easiest ways to improve your SEO on your website if you're a local business. So in my mind, I would never choose to be on Wix solely because of that reason. Even if the design was the same, the editor was the same, and everything was the same, I wouldn't choose to be on Wix for that specific reason as a local business, because it really does. I will not use the word hurt you, but it takes away an element that is super, super advantageous. So that's another reason why I don't choose Wix. I will also say that I don't want to use the word say. I will admit that if you build something out on WordPress, you can have an amazing website. WordPress does amazing things. It's got a bunch of plugins, yada, yada. If you build your website there, you can have an amazing website. The downfall of WordPress that I have had with clients around that is that plugins break and you need someone else to essentially be your website manager, because sometimes the plugins will break and it's beyond you fixing it. For me, in my mind, someone in the health and wellness sphere that is already not really going to claim themselves as techie, or even if you are techie and you're techie on the side of like, I can operate Jane or I can operate PT Everywhere, but you're like, I'm not going to be in the back end of my website coding things. That's a-okay, and I wouldn't expect you to be that person, but that type of person, you're likely not going to want to be on something that has to have your full attention every single time that it updates, because your website could break. Or you have to pay someone to manage your website, which in my mind, it's just like, I am not the person who's going to say like, protect your bottom dollar, never spend a dime. But I do like to say, if there's a place to save money, that to me feels like a money saving option. And if you're not able to manage and change your own website, and you have to be like fully attentive to it because it could break, it just gives me so much anxiety for people, because if you're running a full ass clinic, you don't have a ton of time to do that stuff. And that's the whole point, right? So that is another reason why I will say Squarespace allows for the streamlined editing. There are not plugins within Squarespace that just break randomly. Everything is just within the Squarespace platform. And the only reason why things could randomly break is when there's like an internet outage, which conveniently or inconveniently happened 2 days ago, 3 days ago, where there was a big outage across tons of platforms. So they're not immune to that, just like any other software is not immune to that. But that's the only reason you need to, like, I'm going to use the word worry, I guess, but it's really not worrying. It's just when that happens, accept that your website will be down for a couple minutes, maybe an hour, and then it will be fine. So those are the big reasons. With I will say the two biggest ones, the geotagging of images for Wix, I don't like it. The aesthetics of Wix, I don't love. I don't feel like it's very flowy. I feel like it feels very Windows 2000 to me. That's like that is how I feel about Wix. I feel like it feels Windows 2000, and that's just a personal opinion. I understand some people love it. You do you, not my cup of tea. But that is mainly, the other main reason is the fact of the matter is the people that I work with are typically not techie in a website way. So my job as the website editor designer is to make sure that they have something in their arsenal, aka Squarespace, or in the tech platform, tech side of things, their tech stack, that they can actually operate on their own, should they want to, without feeling like they can't change anything without calling someone. Because I book out. Like I don't want them to feel like they have to have a broken website, or they can't change a website page, or they can't change their copy, they can't change their prices unless they hire someone. Now, with any platform, you have people who just say to you, Lex, I want to outsource it because I'm not good at it and I don't like it. That is what it is. Like that is a person across the board. There are lots of people who feel that way. And yes, I hear you 110%. I get it. So those people will always exist. However, at the heart of everything, at the end of the day, if that person had to go onto their Squarespace website and change something, they could do it. They could definitely do it. Even if they don't like it and it doesn't end up being perfect, or they're not entirely sure, it won't be fast for them because they're not the techiest person, they can do it. And that to me is super, super valuable. It feels like you have the ability to do it. And if you don't, that to me feels like you're in handcuffs, honestly. And that's not what I want to build my business on. I don't want to build my business on people paying me to manage their websites, and when they could absolutely do it themselves. So that's kind of just that's like a value side, but also a logistics side as well. And accessibility side. Like I want you to have access to all of your stuff. So that's really the bottom line. That is why I choose Squarespace over Wix and WordPress, if you ever had a question around that. Now, I'm going to just put this statement out there. Those are the website platforms that most people use. I know that other ones exist. If you ask me if I would choose Squarespace over all of the other ones, I'm going to tell you yes as well. I won't specifically mention names here, but, there are lots of other platforms out there. And the one thing that I will say is I have people who will tell me, well, I made a Google site, or my site is with Google. Do you think I need a website elsewhere, or because is that good for SEO because it's on Google? And I'm just going to put a blanket statement and say, yes, don't just have your website there. A Google site is not the way. A Canva site is not the way. Please don't do that. Please have a full website. And my recommendation is always going to be Squarespace. That's all I got for you. That's really the lowdown on why I stay there, why I will tell clients that's where I work, and why I don't build websites on WordPress, and why I don't build websites on Wix anymore either. And I choose to not work on them at all. I am a sole Squarespace expert at this point, and will only do actual logistical work on Squarespace. Because at the end of the day, it helps my clients. Like, it's about my clients. I could definitely do some WordPress stuff. I could definitely build you something elsewhere. But you know what? At the end of the day, I should also mention Kajabi. Yes, I would choose Squarespace over Kajabi. I won't go into like when I would use a Kajabi landing page versus a Squarespace landing page, if I would do that or if I would not do that. But I would definitely also choose it over that. So if you have Kajabi, I also recommend people have a Squarespace website outside of the Kajabi course platform. So many things, so many things. All right, friends. Again, thank you so much for listening. I always am so appreciative that so many of you listen to this podcast and want to hear what I say and enjoy and get back to me and let me know your thoughts around the episode. And yeah, I'm just appreciative. So thank you so much. When this episode airs, it will be on... I am currently looking at my calendar. What day is it today? Today's the 14th. It'll be on the 23rd. So will it be on the 23rd? Yes, it'll be on the 23rd. And then a week from then is when the next episode will be released. And that is when we'll be off traveling. So I'll probably be recording that one early as well. If you have episode suggestions, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening. I will catch you next time.